Welcome. In front of me is a TECNO Spark 20 Pro Plus, and today I will show you how you can go through the setup process of this device. So, when you boot it up for the very first time, you should be presented with a similar screen to what I have right here. And in here you just get to select your desired language from the list. Now I already have English selected, which is what I want to use anyways. So I'm going to click on next, and then we can choose our region. Now it's selected Poland for me, which is perfect. That's what I would be selecting anyway. And I would recommend selecting a region that is part of, or country that is part of European Union. And the reason for that is European Union tends to have, for the most part, some consumer-friendly changes. Now, there could be, in a way, influenced by trying to get extra money from US companies, but you know what, it doesn't really matter because whatever they're changing usually involves something that is a little bit better for us than it is for the companies. So, in this kind of way, potentially there could be a change that would prohibit some company from doing something that would limit us on our device. And if you select this region, this change could only apply to, for instance, regions which, you know, don't prohibit this, while it would stay the same, you know, unchanged in regions, for instance, like Poland, that are part of European Union. And this would be, for instance, better for us. So that's kind of why I'm selecting this, and why I would recommend doing the same thing. Now this could completely be baseless logic once something like that happens, but you know what, it doesn't really change anything else about the device, so you might as well try it. Next, we have connect to Wi-Fi. This step is completely optional. You don't need to do that if you don't want to, so I'll be skipping it. I do have a SIM card in here though, but that SIM card doesn't have any kind of reception. Now next we have user agreement and service or services. So this consists of terms of use and privacy policy, and you can read both of these by clicking on them, or you can just check the box right here like everyone else does and just go to the next page without ever reading any word of this and moving on. And this presents us with Google services. Now I'll spend a couple of minutes right here shitting on these because I hate them, and I think it's important you know exactly what the hell we're dealing here with, because in current times privacy is not something that you get, it's actually something that is literally stolen from you. So I do want to kind of go into this and talk about it a little bit. So we have use location and allow scanning. These are all the same because if you turn off one, the other one gets turned off anyway. So let's start off with location. Allows apps and services with location permissions to use your device's location. Google, okay, that doesn't really matter. So the first portion is the important part. So it basically allows apps and services to gain your location. Now, it says apps and services. Now, I'm pretty sure, though this is just me guessing, Google doesn't consider Android as a service nor an app, more as an operating system. So whatever you select right here, Google can ignore and just disregard and still get that info, even though you deliberately say no. And even when you say no, it doesn't stop companies from still doing what they want. Just look at creepy as Zuck. This piece of shit still has the audacity to, even when you turn that off, through having things like, you know, Facebook applications, somehow still manages to go round way about and still gain that information, even though you deliberately disallowed his application to be able to do so. He doesn't give a shit. You know, when you're a billionaire, you don't ask for consent, let's be honest. So keep that in mind. I would recommend turning all of these toggles in here off, just in case that when they get caught with their hands in their cookie jars, you know, the hand just completely fucking stuck in there, right? Because it wants to grab way too fucking much. Well, then they get class action lawsuits, just like Zuck. And when there is more people that disagreed to this, I believe there is just a little bit bigger fine. Now, I do want to put that out there. Don't think that this will bankrupt someone like Facebook, because these conniving pieces of shit manage to make millions on this data Well, the punishment from a class action lawsuit, if they made 100 million, yeah, they just need to pay 10 as a punishment. Big fucking boo-hoo. You get to pay 10% of the revenue that you stole. Wow. I will cry with my remaining $90 million while using it to wipe my tears. So obviously the law is not really on our side right here, so turning that off doesn't really punish the people that steal it from us in good way, because if it wanted to do it good, 100 million given back, because that's what you made off of it, plus the 10 million punishment. Now we're talking. Anyway, moving on, we have allow scanning. Allow some services to scan for Wi-Fi network and nearby devices. And here comes the best part. At any time, even when Wi-Fi or Bluetooth is off. Now, screw me in the ass, but I don't know. When I have a car and I, turn the engine off, take out the goddamn key, it doesn't mean that when the engine is off, no one can drive the goddamn car. It's off. So when I have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi that I turn off and yet someone can use it, does it sound like it's off? Because when my engine is off and the car can still drive, it's not really fucking off now, is it? So this is just more of the, the bullshit kind of shenanigans that Google and other companies are always doing, like this, where you think you're doing something, but nah, you're not. You think you turn off that Wi-Fi? Cool that you think so, bucko, but it's still running and still connecting to everything around. You just don't see it. And moving on to another part of this nefarious bullshit, we have send user and diagnostic data. On the surface, it sounds kind of bland, and also it tries to present itself like a good feature, but in reality, it's not. So I will prove why in a second. But it claims, help improve your Android device experience by automatically sending diagnostic device and app usage data to Google. Okay. So let's see how they improved our Android device experience over past half a decade. So for the open source Android project, which, it's literally Android, they have basically done call when it comes down to it. And on top of that, they removed things like dialer from it because that was too much. But their own devices, Pixels, which are also running Android, yeah, they still have the dialer. So is it that much of a fucking stretch to us to put that goddamn dialer into the open sourced one instead of removing one? So that's one. And also, I want to point you out. So Pixel has come out with some exclusive features for Pixels. Now, I don't know, but I would consider those to be device experience improvements. So where the fuck are they from this device? Because I sure shit don't see things like, for instance, using active scanning for music, which you can turn on Pixels, which automatically always listens to music and gives you, basically scrubs it like Shazam, but running permanently. Yeah, I sure shit never seen that on Techno, have you? So surely that's not what they're doing. Because what they're actually doing, and what this is actually referring to is, and drumroll please, ads. So it's your data basically being siphoned out from you for free with your consent. So let's remove that consent. And then sold off to the highest bidder. So Google can make the next record-breaking profit because the line must go up. And they're telling you that they're going to be improving your device experience, and they're going to be doing it by giving you better ads on your device that are more targeted towards you. Because they stole so much data from you that they always know what the hell you're searching for, what you're thinking about and listening to, so they can give you those ads. The ones that you're, that you haven't even thought maybe you wanted. So yeah, screw this shit right there. And moving on to the last one, and probably the worst one, is the install updates and apps. Again, it's using a lot of soft terminology, flaccid cock kind of logic right here, hoping that you won't notice, but I do. So again, by continuing, no, actually that doesn't really sound so flaccid. It's literally starting like a blackmail, because we can't finish up the setup without continuing. So by continuing, we agree that this device may automatically download and install updates and apps from Google. Now, the rest of it doesn't really matter, but here's what kind of is a problem. Application updates and system updates can be disabled. The reason there is no toggle in here because it's not actually talking about those. Like I said, it's using soft terminology and trying to confuse you or mislead you. What it's referring to more or less is the OTA updates. This is the bullshit that is running in the back of your phone that is responsible for security patches, but also companies being able to change the terms of purchase after the purchase has been made. And this is what we've been noticing more often in recent timing with companies such as Sony or Samsung. Oh, it seems like everything with S does this. So Sony, for instance, with their Xperia phones, decided that they're gonna force an update to their users' phones that basically makes one of the applications, I think it's called Camera Pro, something like that, which basically allowed that phone to use a USB-C cable to plug into Sony cameras and use the phone's display as an external display for that camera, which is brighter, bigger, and just better. Yeah, you know what? Not enough people overpaid for the devices, so Sony now decided that they're gonna do the scammy bullshit thing, which is introduce a subscription to it. Even though it doesn't really touch the fucking servers, so there's no reason for that, and even though you already paid extra for this feature by buying the fucking shitty Sony Xperia phone, which already costs more than it's worth. And at that point, if you probably knew about this bullshit subscription coming in, you would have picked up any other device and downloaded Monitor Plus application for free. And be able to also use your phone as an external display for a camera while being wireless too. And for Samsung, one of the things that they did is basically sold a smart fridges for like $3,000, and then they decided, you know what, it has a display, it connects to network, let's also add advertisements to it. Boom, you have it now. It's too late to turn off updates, because by the time you already know about it, you already have it. You just don't know it yet. So yeah, that's another thing. And again, these changes were not done like weeks after the purchase. No. Those were, for instance, people that had the device for 2-3 years, and now it's forced to their device, and they can't do anything. You can't deny this. It's just there. So it's just, more of an erosion of your privacy and also ownership. Now, anyway, moving on, we have set screen lock. We have a couple different methods of going about it. We have fingerprint, face recognition, and password. You can select 3 of these. Now, for using fingerprint and face recognition, or just one of these two, you will always need to also set up PIN, pattern, or password. Reason for that is biometrics, meaning fingerprint and face recognition, aren't 100% reliable. So at times where, I don't know, maybe you got a tiny speck of dust on your finger and your phone refuses to unlock because it doesn't recognize it, or you get a blemish on your face, and again, you must be a different person, I don't recognize you, so I won't unlock the device. You can always rely on that pattern, password, or PIN, which isn't subject to the same crappy limitations as long as you're not hammered enough to be putting it in correctly. I'll be skipping this in any case, because this is work phone, so it doesn't really matter. If I were using this phone, I would actually have a protection. I would recommend doing the same thing. As in unfortunate case of you losing your phone at some point, maybe not, hopefully not, but if you do and someone finds it and has the logic of finders keepers, well, then you can revel in the satisfaction that this cunt won't be able to use that phone, because typically when you have a screen lock and Google account, what happens is that person would need to utilize the finders keepers, would need to reset the phone. But to reset the phone, or once they reset the phone, they will need to verify the screen lock or the Google account, and assuming they don't know either one of them, like they shouldn't, they are stuck with a fancy brick for a phone. Anyway, next we have the gesture and button navigation. Choose whichever one you want. I like gestures, so that's what I'm going to stick with. And we're done with the setup. And there we go. So, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.